very cool. Hello, everybody. Nice. Beautiful. It's so cool that we could do this, no matter where we are in the world. We could just check in a little bit. I'm going to keep it really short tonight. I'm going to invite Justine in a few minutes. She's going to talk a bit about the upcoming Ayurvedic detox. But I do want to speak a little bit to how important it is right now that we use some of the ancient techniques and technologies to really, let's say, keep ourselves very clear, very healthy, very grounded. So we can really be at our best. We could be at our best physically. We could be at our best mentally. We could be at our best spiritually. And we could be at our best financially. These are really, I believe, the 4 pillars moving forward that are essential planetarily, but more importantly, individually. Because the way I look at it is, if you're able to have real vitality, real physical vitality, real health, it's very difficult to move you. You know what I mean? Like you're in your power, so to speak. If you're educated and you educate yourself and you have that knowledge and you live that knowledge, it's very difficult to be swayed and fooled. If you're connected spiritually to source, the source within you, the source around you, you have this projective nature of fearlessness. So it's very difficult to make you afraid. And then, of course, we talk about financial wealth and independence. And it's very difficult to tell you to do something you really don't want to do. So think about that. If we have our physical temple intact, if we have our mental attributes intact, if we have our spiritual connection intact, and we have our financial independence intact, how could you go wrong? How could you, the way I look at it is this, and this is why I'm asking Justine to come on today, because we have a detox coming up next weekend. In order to really have good boundaries, in order to really stand in your self-love, those 4 things need to be intact. If there's a weakness in any of those links, everything collapses. So that's why now it's so important, super important, to get it right. And one of the things that we're going to talk about tonight is the power of detoxification. And I like the Ayurveda aspect of detoxification because it's quite mild in a sense. It's not so intense. It works with where you're at this particular time. I've studied detoxification for many years, and some of the detox protocols that I have explored are quite intense. And those are really for people that are at the end of their health and that really need to come back from, quote unquote, the grave. So let me invite Justine now, and we'll get cooking and see what we have, see what she says. Thanks, everybody, for checking in. All right. Okay. Yeah, I just think it's a real important time. Let's see when Justine comes on, but it's really important now. We're being poisoned with our food. We're being poisoned in the air. If you notice those clouds, if any of you follow me privately, you'll know I'm crazy about those clouds. Those are chemtrails. It's not a conspiracy theory. There's patents, yada, yada, yada. The water is polluted. The Wi-Fi signals are affecting our well-being. The media is affecting our well-being. We need a detox on all levels. And I think a really good start is something like an Ayurvedic detox. And I really trust Justine. I know she's going to break it down in a way that we all get. So let's see if I can get it. All right, Justine, I'm trying to invite you here. I'll give it a shot again. Okay, she's unable to join. Let's see. And please ask questions if you have any questions. Okay, good. Hey, Justine.
Hi.
Hey. Yeah, I'm asking everybody if they have any questions, they could just type it in, and we can go over some of those questions together. How you doing?
I'm good. And you?
I'm on fire tonight.
Yeah? I'm talking about chemtrails, so it
Talking
sounds
about the
fire.
chemtrails. Yep. But,
Oh,
we're being inundated with all kinds of toxins from everywhere you look, physically, mentally, spiritually, you name it. And I thought that it would be a really great for those people that are not really deep into any kind of detox. This is a great start, no?
definitely. And I like that you mentioned the mental part because we're going to talk about mental ama, which is like mental toxins. So that's going to be part of it as well because people often think about the physical, right? But our mind also can be quite full and exposed to things that we have a hard time processing, which leads to toxins in the body as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so let me ask you this. Let's say people don't live in Helsinki, they can't get here, they're somewhere else in the world. Do you offer this kind of program online? Can people just get your products, get the protocol, stay in touch with you, even if they don't live here?
Yeah, exactly. So I do have it as an online course and I can ship one product along with it. So there is one thing that you need physically from me, and this is herbal ghee. So ghee is a clarified butter, and this has herbs cooked into it. So you'll need to get this in the post. So I can easily send that. And then it comes with a video and a PDF. And the PDF or the video is me talking over the PDF, so explaining how to do it. So it's great if you can join in person, but of course, if you can't, there's the online option as well.
Great. And it's not a super intense detox that you're offering, right? It's like 6 days or so, yeah?
Yeah, I like to start with the 6 day approach. So I think people often get scared when they think of Ayurveda detoxes because traditionally in India, they can be up to 3 weeks, which is really long for some people. So I think starting with this, and even for the first few years, you could do it every spring, you could do it every autumn, for example, do the 6 days each time. And then if you want, you can start extending it and doing it longer. But I definitely would suggest starting with the 6 days for the first few times.
Yeah, that's great. And what are some of the results that you've seen in the past just in a 6 day cleanse? Have you noticed
Yeah,
anything?
yeah. So the body is like an onion, and we see each time there's more layers or peeling off. So first time we see sometimes skin things like skin improvements, digestive issues, especially if they haven't been chronic for a really long time. So the newer it is in the body, the easier it is to take off those layers and we see the results faster. That's why for some people they might need to do it a few times in spring and autumn because each time they're going to see the effects and the layers come off. And one thing back again with the sort of mental is that people often say they feel really calm afterwards. They're not like so quick to react, like things that would make them really upset don't really faze them in the same way, which is, I think, really important for a lot of us because we're overstressed and we're over busy and we are really reactionary. So a lot of people work on that, through meditation and yoga and healing practices, but you can also do it through a detox as well.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, when you simply just change your diet over a few days, you feel significantly different. So your food is your medicine or your poison, depending on how you approach it.
Exactly. And a lot of herbs are really good in small doses and poison in large doses. So it's all about dosage. And that's why this herbal program is dosed really well. So I've been working as an herbalist from a young age and working with plants on Vancouver Island, where I'm from. But this is a traditional Ayurvedic remedy. This is not something that I have created from scratch. So this is a long tradition that I have learned from my teacher. And we are using Ayurvedic herbs in there, but I've made sure that the formula is, done correctly to the tradition.
No, I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate the gentle approach you have because some practitioners could be very militant in their approach, and I think it could really turn a lot of people off, especially if people aren't militant with themselves. That is, it's going to boot camp basically. I mean, I've been to boot camp, so it could be really intense, and I really appreciate the gentle nature and how you're approaching peeling the onion layers away and starting to reveal a new layer of health underneath that. Mm.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was just gonna add in there that yeah, when people even think of the word detox, it sounds harsh for some people. You know, and it's not even my favorite word really, but I find in Finland using the word cleanse or cleansing doesn't really translate very well, especially to Finnish. So using the word detox, everybody knows clearly what that means.
Right.
But it is, for me, it is more of a gentle cleanse for the body. You want some boot camp detox.
Yeah, I mean, but again, sometimes if a person's in a real chronic state of health and they need to come back, sometimes that approach is necessary. But I think where we're at, and especially our community here, most people are pretty hip, and this is a great start. And I just want to recommend the importance of taking care of your body, taking care of your mind, getting right with God, so to speak, getting your spiritual nature intact. And I also spoke about the importance of really getting your finances in order too. Because if one of those aspects are not in alignment, it's going to affect the whole cycle. You're not going to feel well. You're not going to think well. You're not going to feel connected, so on and so forth. So, all right, that's good.
Yeah, it's, what you're talking about sounds like blockages too. So if you have a lot of these blockages in life, sometimes they can lead to an actual physical blockage in the body. So detoxing can help release and open up. We have what are called srotas or channels in the body, and there's different words for it depending on what tradition you're looking at, but basically channels in the body that can get stuck or blocked up. So the detox does really help open those channels up and get things moving. That's why we see digestion as often one of the first things that really improves. And you know, we do have a lot of digestive issues here in Finland, unfortunately.
Yeah, makes sense, definitely. So let's unpack this detox a bit. Um, so, what would you say the main focus of this 6 day cleanse is?
Well, we're working on the fat soluble toxins. So, for example, water soluble toxins are quite easy to detox. You can do that with juice fasting, for example, or just soup fasting. And that's good because the blood does need to get cleansed as well. But the thing about the ghee is fat attracts fat. So when we're ingesting ghee with herbs in it, it's actually working on softening the toxins that are lodged into the fat tissues. So it basically kind of like softens and massages them out. And then on the last night, we take a special oil that helps flush everything out. So it's really an oleation process. So we're like oiling internally the body. So that's why I like it so gentle, because you're actually oiling the body, which most of us are so dry. You know, in modern culture, we're so busy and so rushed. We're like little raisins on the inside. So we really need help with that oleation. Yeah. Where juice cleansing in Finnish climate, I wouldn't recommend for most of the year anyway. It's too harsh and rough and dry.
Makes sense.
It be dry because it's like juice, but it actually can be very drying due to its bitter nature because bitter taste can be very drying to the body.
Right. And then, all right, so just some practical questions because I've already took a look at the program. So I just want to kick it a little bit out there. What does the preparation look like? What can a person expect? What do they got to buy? How much time is it going to involve? All that kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
Yeah, so it is technically 6 days, but if the person wants, they can prepare a little bit before, especially if they're planning out to take coffee during the detox. They might want to not cold turkey that, you know, and slower process beforehand, maybe would be smart. Or someone's trying to quit smoking, you know, trying to cut back on that before, or sugar. So if you have a vice basically before the detox, it might be good to start a few days or week, whatever you need to ease your way into it so it doesn't feel so brutal during that time. But otherwise, there isn't really any preparation there. You can do normal things during the detox. You can go to work. I would recommend not taking on anything extra during that time. So do your normal requirements of that week, but say no to all the extra social stuff and things that are happening there if you can. And then you will need one rest day. So we're going to say, for example, if you start Monday night, the Saturday would be your rest day. The reason why you need one rest day at the end is because you will drink the special oil at the night before and you will be flushing out the system. So you will go to the toilet many times on that rest day. That's why you don't want to make like a pizza date with your friends on the rest day. No pizza dates. Yeah.
And it feels to me like it would be much more advantageous to do with, I mean, not the rest day, of course, that could be something you do on your own, but like just doing it with friends and family members and just making it like a communal cleanse.
Definitely. So we have a class coming up at Helsinki Healing Arts Center, and people are going to come. They will get the herbal ghee then. But of course, they can look at their own calendar and do it when they like. But I think we should start like a little, at least WhatsApp group around it where people can, sort of troubleshoot and ask questions and have a community there. And people can share their experiences. And so I think we should definitely do that for that period. Even if people aren't doing it right away, maybe they do it a month later, we can still have the group going on for like a month or so. And
Yeah, that's cool. Definitely.
yeah, because you get some funny questions there too. It's great. Like people are asking about sometimes, there's a lot of poop talk on there. My poop is like this, my poop is like that, so that's definitely part of my job. I get lots of messages about people's poop.
You get poop pics?
Yeah. Yeah, I promise to always delete them off my phone. Also, lots of tongue photos because I look at people's tongues a lot too. So, of course, I always delete them later. But yeah, that's a big part of my job is investigating what's happening inside of the body. And poop and looking at the tongue is part of that.
Sure.
And the breathing, of course, as well. But yeah, during the detox, it would be advantageous to be vegetarian during that time just because you're drinking so much fat. Because that jar I showed, that's how much fat is going to be drank in 4 nights. So this is going to be mixed with a liquid, and then you will drink the warm liquid the Monday through Friday night or Thursday night, sorry. Yeah, so vegetarian during that time would be good. And just food that's fresh. We want food that has a lot of prana or chi, what's going to have energy and nourish us. So lots of fresh during that time, and cooking for yourself. So if you're somebody that always eats out, you might want to prepare that thought beforehand, like how am I going to cook more during that week? So that's why I think it's really important to not take on extra social things during that time. So unless you want to do it socially with a friend, do the detox with a friend and you share meals together and cook meals together, and that would actually be a really great idea. My dream is to actually have a retreat detox where we all do it together. That would be really excellent. We'll just need make sure there's enough toilets for everybody.
Yeah, well, that's a great idea, and I think people would really appreciate that, because I mean, as isolated as we like to be sometimes, we really need each other. We need each other.
Especially
You were so connected.
like eating alone all the time, there's a sadness in that. We really should be eating with others and cooking together and sharing food. That should be a big part of the culture. And unfortunately, it's becoming less and less all the time. I have often clients, like young clients especially, and they don't know how to cook. So I think that would be like what you were saying, getting your house in order, getting your things in order, learning how to cook would be like one of the best things that you could learn for yourself, teach yourself this year, if that's something that you don't know how to do.
I like that. I think that's great. And I would also add, and I would have to say that another thing to do this year is to learn self-defense, because I feel like a lot of people live in fear because they don't know how to handle situations that are uncomfortable.
Yeah, and to protect yourself is also, for example, if you are living in fear all the time, that eats away at the body, so that creates emotional toxins as well in the body. So having to overcome that fear, for example. And I see it, and I've seen it sort of since COVID. I could hear the fear in people's voices. So I really read people's faces and listen to people's voices when I speak with them. That's part of my job. That's part of the diagnosis for Ayurveda constitution.
Mm.
And of course, the pulse reading is the best way to know, but there are these other little subtle things you can pick up through facial features and movements and the way that people speak. And I can hear that people's tones of voice have sort of like amped up an extra level and kind of have sort of this fear sound in there. It was definitely more heightened during the COVID time when we were only hearing people on the phone and not seeing them so much in person. It's kind of come down a little bit since then, but definitely not since pre-COVID times. I can really hear it in the voices.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There. So I think you're right. Like this, any kind of body movement that people enjoy, and if you can add in some self-defense in there, I agree.
I agree. We're all in this together, and everybody's got a unique gift, you know. And one of the reasons I opened this center was not to make it Kuldip Center, but to make it a communal center, and to have people that are at the top of their game bring their gift, bring their medicine to the community, so we could all
And
grow together.
I really see that because the first time we met, that was what you were all about. That was your motivation, and it was really clear. It really vibrates from you like that is what you want. And that was really cool because I don't see that very often. It's often, you would think that most people go into wellness because they really love it, but it is often really money focused. And clearly you want it to be like a community space for people. We even had some cool ideas. So when we were chatting, yeah.
Yeah, no, this is good, and this is the detox is really not about the money. Obviously, we know that it's I getting you out there for people that don't know you. You have a golden touch. I think it's your Virgo ness.
Thank you. I'm told I have really intuitive hands, so that I might not, for example, be able to speak Finnish really well, but my language with the work that I do with my hands is its own language. So
Yeah,
that's all here.
good.
Yeah,
Oh, well, like I said, I'm gonna keep it a little bit short tonight. Anything else you want to add to this?
I would say just try it. Don't be fearful, like you were saying before. You really don't need to alter your life that dramatically. I would say for me, it's one of the easiest detoxes I've ever done, and I've done it over 20 times. And I'm a quite busy person and find it hard to do other detoxes. They're quite demanding. But this one, I feel like I can pretty much live normal life. I just have to have that one rest day and just take out some of that social stuff. So um, spring is on the way. Spring is the best time of the year to do it. So between like March and April would be ideal. And then again in like September and October. And like I said, you can do it twice a year. I've been doing it for, I guess, 10, 12 years. So you can just keep going if you want to. And I really do believe that it is why I am quite healthy and able to do the work that I do, the healing work that I do with people requires a lot. And I think it's because I take really good care of myself that way through detoxing twice a year.
That's great. No, it's a good point. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, sometimes as in the helping profession, you lend too many helping hands and
Yes.
not enough to yourself, and you feel it. So cool.
Yeah.
Thank
Well,
you.
thanks for talking to me about detox, and I look forward to class.
Hang on a sec. I got a question here. This is the first question I ever got on on this. It says from Belu123. Should you just blend it with water? I think they're talking about the
The ghee.
herbal ghee.
Yes. So there are some different traditions. Traditionally, it would be with a warm milk or a golden milk. For those who are lactose intolerant, then I would suggest just mixing it with a warm water.
Cool.
But the golden milk, it tastes nicer. It kind of hides the texture of the ghee. Because if you use the full fat milk with the ghee, the textures kind of blend well together.
Good. Any other questions out there, folks? We love you. It'd be cool to hear anything from you.
I'm a wealth of information when it comes to detox and herbs, so take advantage of the time now to ask me something.
Yeah. Hmm. All right. Well, we'll see. Oh, got another one. Oh, I feel like we're fishing here.
Yeah.
Kuldip, are you going to do the detox as well? I am. I am. I need community too. I mean, I'm a lone wolf. Don't get me wrong, but no, I'm in. Nicole, if you're in, I'm in. We're all in. Whoever's going to show up. Basically, you're showing up for the workshop. You're showing up to pick Justine's brain. She's going to read some pulses, some tongues, I think, right?
Yeah,
Get the
let's do
tongues out.
it. I can look at
So,
everything in the class. Yeah, we can talk about.
and hit some Marma points, show you some good stimulating detox points in the body. And adios. And then we'll just keep in touch, right? We could pick your brain about all the
Yeah,
other stuff.
that group around it so we can keep the conversation going. And like we were saying, there is an online option, but the live, you're going to get so much more out of it because we're going to also talk about doing self massage there, which is not in the online part at all. And we're definitely not going to be looking and talking about tongues on the online one. So there's definitely so much more personal to be gained through the live.
And I got my brother here, Nikita Pavlov, Rye of Earth. Uh, he's a detoxer of the mind. And he's got a question. Is there anyone who should not detox?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I do have, if you want to read more about it on the information I have provided you, there'll be like for pregnancy and for nursing, if you're breastfeeding the baby and it's like heavy breastfeeding. If you're near the end of breastfeeding and the child's already eating food and things like that, you can work around the breastfeeding times. But yeah, so those would be indication times. If somebody is on blood thinners, and that's pretty much about it. If somebody has really bad like spastic colon, for example, we're going to change the way that they end the detox. So that's something that we can address privately before or after the detox class. And I will talk about that in the class, these sort of like not to do and when to do things if there are some special situations. But it is so gentle that it is quite suitable for most people.
Yeah, I figured that. That sounds about right. I mean, there's a couple of extreme cases, but
Yeah,
that's good to know.
extreme
Cool.
cases, yeah. But there is some definitely mental detox going on. Like I said, people say they feel super calm afterwards, especially those who they cannot quiet the mind, they can't meditate. Like mentally, everything's such a challenge. I love to see how this detox really chills people out afterwards.
Yeah, good to know. Good to know. All right, and I think that's it. Nikita, thanks, brother, for asking the question, and Nicole and Bella 123, and it's been another pleasure, Justine. Thanks for your insight and your wisdom, and we'll see you on the 10th.
Yeah, we'll see you then. Looking forward to it.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you. Love you guys. See ya.